Hi there, I hope you're well and keeping safe. These are certainly extraordinary and challenging days that we live in. But you know, God told us in advance about entering into a new era, and we now find ourselves navigating through uncharted waters. Although we haven't been here before, God is still our map and our compass. And so I'd love you to carefully consider this simple but very insightful prophetic word from Richie Powell, which helps us understand how we are to move forward into the new things that God has got for us at this time.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Richie, and I'm one of the pastors of Christ Central Church in Penge in South London. And I just wanted to share with you today a prophetic word that God has given me in the last few weeks, which I've been sharing with a few close friends to see just some feedback and hear from them how they interpret the things that I feel God has said to me. And I just want to share that with you today. I've been encouraged to do that because maybe it might bless you as well. And so it was Sunday a few weeks ago during one of our church prayer meetings via Zoom, where I felt God very suddenly, in and amongst other people's prayers, take me back about a year or so into the past, where I was watching a TV program that was about a massive earthquake that hit Mongolia. Now, if you know anything about Mongolia, it's one of the least populated per landmass areas on the face of the earth. But nevertheless, in 1905, there was a massive earthquake there. I believe it rated about 8.5 on the Richter scale and shook violently for quite some time. And this earthquake was so fierce that it was said that the ramifications of that, the sense of tremoring and whatever else, was felt for 1,500 miles all around the world. So all the way up into Russia, into Asia, down into southern parts of Asia and so on, was this massive trembling and shaking as this earthquake struck right there in Mongolia. And one of the things that they said on this TV program as I was watching it was that actually that it shook so violently and the earth moved so fiercely and these tectonic plates rubbed together so violently that actually there was this huge scar torn into the face of the earth. And actually the first scar that appeared in the face of the earth as the ground opened up and separated one part from the other was 75 miles long. And so that's a huge expansive area just to be ripped open and pulled apart, and this big scar still to this day exists there in Mongolia. And then a second one, as the tremors carried on, started to rip and tear open, and that stretched for 250 miles across this uninhabited parts of Mongolia. And still to this day, those scars, I believe, are there in the earth. And I felt God starting to speak about that. And then as the program went on, they said that these massive boulders weighing tens of tons that were high up in the mountains started to come tumbling down because of the violent shaking of the earth. And they fell down to the foot of the mountain. And God started to speak further. And this is what I feel God has been saying. And it comes from Rory's word to us actually about a new era. And we have very much spoken about that word for the last near enough 2 years, I think it is. And about a new era is not the same as things were before, and so on and so forth. But one of the parts of that prophetic word is that God is going to change our mode of operation. And for me, that's been the hinge, that's been the thing that's brought me greatest understanding as we go through this season, particularly where churches almost exclusively, in a lot of the parts of the world at least, are in some form of lockdown and major restrictions and have huge problems. And from this prophetic picture and word that I felt God start to give me was this, that actually the landscape of the earth has physically changed forever. And so has the way that we do ministry and the way that we reach into our communities. There's these permanent scars now, if you like, in the face of the earth, and it is changing the way we do ministry. And so for many of us, we've recognised that Sundays aren't the be-all and end-all, and there are other ways of reaching our communities and so on, and I'll let you work that through. But the other part of the prophetic picture and the word that came was about these massive boulders that came tumbling down the hill. And God said to me that actually we are not to try and take the boulders and put them back up on the mountain. We're not to try and get back to normal. The whole point of this shaking of the earth is that we go forward into the new things, the new era, the new modes of operation that God has for us. It doesn't mean we do away with everything that went before, but we are to carefully assess what it is that goes back to perhaps slightly what looked like normal before, but actually there are some boulders that have come down the mountain, and we're not to try to put them back up there. So I hope this word encourages you and blesses you as it has done me. I know it's given me great insight now as we look forward, and I pray for you that God would bless you and give you the wisdom and understanding to know how to do that for yourselves in your context. God bless you, and we'll see you soon.
I hope you found that helpful. I think a good response would be for you to prayerfully and humbly seek the Lord and ask him, what are the boulders that have come down in my life, or what are the boulders that have come down in my church, if you're a church leader, that you do not want me to put back in this new era? I would say be bold, be faithful, and trust the Lord and follow the Spirit in that. God bless you.